This is MX versus ATV Legends. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So this is the latest entry in the very long running, well, kind of all-terrain, different types of vehicle options. You get the motorbike or, well, motocross options, you get the UTV type things, you get the ATV type things. There's a few different disciplines for how you race, and it's split into the 3 different categories for you to enjoy. So what are we getting here on the Series X? Well, quite a lot of vibrations on the controller, and believe it or not, this is actually toned down from an update that they provided. So it's a 4K resolution, 60 FPS. It has 2-player local split screen, or it has 16 players online action with cross-gen multiplayer between the Xbox console generations. So this actually might be the best one they've ever done in this series, or at least it's the best one that I can remember. It's not necessarily like a perfect experience, if that makes sense, but it's pretty great, and it has a lot of content, a lot of different maps, a lot of different biomes, a lot of different ways to play, and it's fun. It really is. It's quite enjoyable. Now, there was an update that came out that kind of delayed almost my thinking on this one in regards to gameplay, because there were some little issues or hiccups here or there, or problems, and I will say after the update is a lot better of an experience. It also seems to be a little bit easier because of that update, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I would say they've actually improved a lot of things. Now, I do have some issues here or there. Like the campaign, you know, like the in-between stuff where you talk to people is a little lame, I would say. You know, you just kind of want to get to racing, and it's also a little lame that for quick play you have to unlock the different areas by playing the campaign, which I think is silly, because if it's quick play, I just want to play quick play. And I'm hoping the vibration on the controller isn't like too loud, but it's pretty loud. So I hope that's not too much of an issue. So yeah, and then there's also the loading is really long for like a next-gen experience. I hope they work on that, because it takes quite a while to load into any of the races you go to do. Now, that being said, the results of what you get when you do load in is really good. Like, I think visually this is a really good looking game. They absolutely nailed like a next-gen aesthetic for it, and they really do a good job of dealing with things such as poppin'. You know, there's little bits of it, but like for the most part the grass and stuff is like actually pretty well like hidden. You don't really notice a whole lot of poppin'. You might notice a little bit right there, a little bit of shadow here or there, but unless you're really looking for it. That was bad right ahead there, but you know, it kind of goes against my point. But for the most part, when you're playing this and you're going across these rather large environments or these track areas, you don't really notice the poppin'. And I think that's really well handled and something I look for in these visual experiences. And I just kind of wonder, you know, the next one where it's like fully maybe next gen only, you know, what are they going to do with that one to improve things? And I'm just really curious to see, you know, where they go next with this and the direction of everything. Because right now, it's actually, again, quite well done. Now, I do wish there were rewinds. We don't have that feature. You got to reset things on the track. I am going to quickly just go to gameplay, and can I turn off vibration? There we go. Now we don't have to listen to that. I mean, I can't feel it well, but, you know, now we don't have to listen to that controller rattling off. So, anyways, there is a lot to do in this one. There's a lot of different modes. You've got the online multiplayer, you've got the local stuff, you've got compounds to drive around in, you've got a wide variety of different like challenging tracks and different vehicles to use, and you can tune your vehicles, and you can customize your vehicles, and you can customize your rider. There's lots of different options in regards to adjusting, you know, kind of how you handle on the track, if that makes sense. Like, you really fine-tune things. There's different viewing perspectives that you can use in order to, like, you know, race around. Really can get quite cinematic. Some of these are a little bit weird, but I'm kind of just trying to show them off so you can see the different options. You know, the whole first person here, pretty cool. And then you could go, like, way back, which is kind of like a bit of a GTA type angle. But yeah, I kind of wish it would auto set you a little bit better. So anyways, we'll go back to the default. But yeah, different coloring options, different customization things. They do a really great job on the personalization and just the overall experience of what you're doing in this one. I really was kind of just like, wow, this is fun. This is really good. And you know, they've really been a lot more miss with this franchise over the years. And like, once again, it's not necessarily like, oh wow, this is top tier, insane, awesome, you know, capturing this experience, but it's a pretty great game. It actually is a lot of fun, and like I said, it's packed with like a variety of different like content areas and races and tracks, and it's kind of just very good. There we go. Now I've driven over 100 miles. How exciting. And you could play this for like hours and hours and hours because there's just lots to do in it, which is kind of fantastic. Like, these are chunky races. I've been sitting here putting in quite a fair bit of time on this one, actually trying to do different challenges, and then there's like sponsorships, and there's all that other kind of stuff too, which is kind of cool. Oh, I forgot, there's also Dolby Atmos support. That's something I try to mention as well. And again, like, I don't really have too many complaints. I've kind of highlighted my big issues there, but like physics-wise, gameplay-wise, visually, you know, the environments and stuff like that, they actually really do hit the mark for the most part. I don't really have too many problems. Again, loading wise takes a little bit too long, and unlocking wise it's like, ugh. There's also like a pretty decent soundtrack too. You know, I don't know if it's a lot of music that people necessarily know, but it's actually kind of nice to drive along to. This is the compound that I was talking about, where you've got this sort of like more open space where you're able to drive, and this is where you got to kind of go and talk to different people, which seems a little, again, lame or silly, but just kind of take a look in and see how like the grass kind of loading is handled. It's very subtle. I mean, if you really look for it, you can see the grass kind of appearing like off in the distance. But for a lot of games, you know, the pop-in is not handled well, and I would say this is actually kind of impressive. It honestly is. But yeah, you just go and you talk to these guys, they give you a little bit of details, and then you get like new unlocks and stuff, and that's kind of it, and you continue your career. But you could just sit here in the compound and play around, and there's, like I said, there's a few different areas like this where you just kind of get to take it in, you know, practice stuff. The tutorial was a little annoying in this one, but yeah, not too bad. But I would say, like, visually, I do think this one actually looks really quite good, you know, especially in comparison to, like, previous ones. Like, this is one of those actual kind of next-gen looking things, which is impressive considering it's actually got a lot of very large open spaces. Like, we've got like the Monster Energy for the motocross, but that's like, you know, basically just indoor environments for the most part, right? Whereas this is like a mix of things. So we've got our career, we've got the exhibition, we've got the online, we've got the split screen. I actually did try out the online, kind of fun, just kind of goes through rolling lobbies. The garage, you got your locker, you got some different settings. Let's go to career, the three different disciplines, like I mentioned, MX, ATV, and UTV. So we're going to jump into ATV now, and we're going to jump into week 6 of this Gauntlet Tour or whatever to show this area off. So like I said, you just keep progressing, you just keep unlocking things, and you just keep moving forward. Once more, quick play should just be open, though. That's the whole point of quick play, and it seems like this franchise, they like to kind of block or barricade, and this is what I talk about for the loading screens. The loading screen's way too long. I think it would make a colossal difference if this had faster loading. I would actually significantly like improve my stance on this one as well, even higher. But yeah, like this is crazy. Yeah, but anyways, so they do have like a bit of a history with this franchise where they sort of like gate or lock content. But if you're doing a quick exhibition thing, it should just be a fun, easy, I want to play whatever, I want to take it in, because it's not serious, it's not career. And I get that some people might want that sense of progression, but it just, to me, it feels like they're locking things away. Like, look at this. This is ridiculous, right? Like, honestly, like, I can't even with that. But you get these, like, pretty big, dynamic, kind of large environments that I think are really well done. Let's get going on the ATVs. And you know, this is, again, a franchise that I have really enjoyed, if that makes sense. Like, as I've been saying, I haven't thought for a long time that this is like a good series anymore, if that makes sense. Like a lot of the games are kind of duds or they're just okay. But like this is the first time where I'm like, wow, this is fun. This is enjoyable. There's a lot to this. It's great. It's well handled. I just actually really sat there, was just playing away at this, and I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. There is a ways for them to go in regards to fine-tuning the experience further. You know, I do think there's a lot more that they can do with this experience in order to expand it and, you know, vehicle-wise and stuff like that. But I would say this is a really good basis for them to continue kind of working on this franchise, if that makes sense. Like, I could really see this being a good jumping spot this generation, where it's like, this one is good, great, and the next one maybe could be like a true top-tier racing game. Honestly, like, this is a perfect foundation for them to build from. And I do think maybe a little bit of that cross-gen stuff is holding them back. But there's, you know, a lot of areas, like I kind of highlighted there, like, okay, this needs to be worked on. But there's also a lot of areas where I'm like, wow, this is really, really cool. This is fun. This is neat physics. This is good visuals. I like what they're providing here. These maps are big. There's a lot of these different maps, a lot of these different biomes. There's a lot to enjoy with this one. Ooh, okay, I recovered. That's good. And I think that update did help a lot too, because like I said, there were a number more of kind of like little issues I had, but since playing afterwards of that update, I haven't really had any of the things I was having. They were like little glitches or hiccups here or there, but yeah, they all seem smoothed out with the big update that came. So I think for those that are going to be playing this going forward, it's not going to be any sort of issue. It's all just going to run quite well. I mean, it seems to be very fluid for me. It seems to visually be keeping up and looking sharp and colorful and vibrant and full of that fun MX ATV action. And I hope that new players, and maybe old players, you know, in the sense of enjoying this, but I'm kind of hoping that new players can maybe have the fun that I did when I first played this franchise, like a long time ago. Like, I want to say like PS1, PS2 era was when I, you know, first played this series, and it's like, you know, I'm kind of hoping that it recaptures that magic for a lot of people that it kind of, you know, was hit or miss with for a long time. Because I do think they've actually got something pretty good here. I like playing this. This is a lot of fun. This is an enjoyable game. You've got the different modes. I don't really know where else they would go in terms of like content other than just more and more maps and more areas, but you know, they've put together something really nice here. It's mostly, I would imagine, going forward, maybe fine-tuning what they've got set up here. This is that foundation that I think could take them across the generation to the point where that next game really could hit that mark to a very high degree and be one of the top-tier racing games, which would be kind of crazy. Like, this is, I think, the first one that I would say really has my stamp of approval for, I don't know, like since the last, like a decade back or something like that. I would say this one really, really has, you know, shined on, at least for me. Like, I can definitely see where you can have complaints. I definitely see where you can have problems with this one, but I think when you look at this, it's well done. It's well crafted. It doesn't have issues. It's just got some things here or there. The biggest being the loading. The loading is definitely like, whoa. So I'm kind of hoping that an update maybe improves that and gives us better games. Because on a next-gen console, there's absolutely no reason that the game takes that long to load. Zero reason at all. These, you know, like the maps, they're good textures, good looking, but like, it's not that, you know, intensive on the storage and stuff, so that they really need to work on that. But yeah, little issues here or there, but for the most part, a lot of fun. Just enjoy the rest of the action with some, you know, commentary-free setups. And we'll also be showing off a bit of the UTV so you can see what that is like. But good luck out there if you're going and racing, and have a great time exploring the adventures that, you know, ATV, MX, or UTV has to offer for you in this one. And become a legend. Oh,